Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tyler. This is Pockets Full of Comics. This is where we talk about comic books and collectibles in general. I got a little special video for you today, a little blast from the past. We're going back to 1948. A little comic book history. I'm not, the most versed in this character, but I did read this book and it's pretty awesome and try to do a little bit of research so I can talk, a little bit intelligently about it. But this book that I'm about to show you was a book from my grandfather's collection that I inherited. And, I talked to him about it, and he is one of his all-time favorite characters. He read this book probably more than any book in this collection. So pretty cool. And you can tell by the book itself, the cover is detached and it's worn. It's in nice shape for the amount that I think he read this thing. I mean, I talk about pockets full of comics. I think this comic book had been rolled up, put in his pocket, carried around town, down to the railroad tracks. He was reading this with his buddies back, in the 50s. This book was from 1948. So I'm excited to talk about it a little bit, but I just thought it'd be a fun break. Recently on my channel, if you're new here, I've been picking up collections off Facebook Marketplace locally, flipping them all and whatnot, and just trying to make some more money to cover grading fees because I've been grading my grandfather's comics and, just purchase more Golden Age Superman type books, and the first appearance is of Guardians of the Galaxy characters, which are my favorites. So that's kind of what I have going on around here. I've only been in the hobby for about a year and a half, and I dove pretty deep. So I have quite a nice collection for a year and a half in, but I have to give thanks to my grandfather for that, because without inheriting his collection, I would have never even looked into comic books, I'm going to be honest. And now they've become a part of my life that I don't think will ever leave. I really enjoy them. I spend a lot of time creating the content here and searching comic books and cleaning them and pressing them, and I just absolutely love every minute of it. So with that being said, you guys just want to see the book. I'm going to show you the book. So the book that I just finished reading and that now I'm going to clean and press is this Two Gun Kid #1. This is from 1948 Atlas. And this is the first appearance of the Two Gun Kid. Also the first appearance of his horse, the Cyclone, or Cyclone is his name. And then there is a kind of a side note. It is actually the first appearance of Blaze Carson, I believe. Blaze Carson in this one, though, was called the Sheriff. And then he later goes on to have his own book, Blaze Carson #1, which I'm assuming they consider Blaze Carson #1 on like CGC when you get it graded, it has a little grading note. I'm assuming that Blaze Carson #1 is Blaze Carson's first appearance, but he was actually in here as the Sheriff, which is kind of a cool little side note. But in this book, Two Gun Kid, he rides into town on Cyclone. Bullet comes flying by his head out of the bar. He goes in to check it out. He gets in a fight with this guy, Brett Dawson, the tough guy in town. They continue to quarrel. There's a girl involved. Two Gun Kid whips the crap out of this Brett Dawson guy, and it just becomes a thing. It actually kind of reminds me of, some of you guys are probably going to be like, no, not at all, but I think it reminded me of the story of like Roadhouse. Guy comes into town, bar, fights, the whole deal. So anyways, it ends with Brett Dawson falling off this cliff by this bridge and dying. Two Gun Kid prevails, and then it goes on to the next story. So pretty awesome read. I just really enjoyed it, 1948 book, and like to be able to hold a piece of what I would consider comic book history and, inherit this book and not have to purchase it or anything like that just is pretty special. And, like I said, the cover is detached, but the cover's there. All 32 pages, it's a 32-page book. Oh, excuse me, every time I read, I don't know if it's just me, every time I read, I get exhausted. Like, I just yawn and want to go to sleep. But I just finished reading this, so I'm trying not to yawn here. But yeah, really cool book, really cool cover. It does have its things, but I'm excited to own it. And the pencils were done by Sid Shores, and it was inked by Vince Alasia, which is kind of cool. What else on this book? I think there's like 54 graded sales of this book. I didn't, in the 50, 56 to 58, somewhere around there on the CGC census. I'm just trying to go off memory from what I researched. The highest sale, I think, and the highest graded of this book is a 9.4, and it sold like $5,000 in 2015, which, so obviously there's some value to this book. The most recent sale I looked up was actually on an eBay sold comp. It sold in February of 2025, and the copy that sold, I would say, was a it was in rough shape. I would say it was probably a 1.0 in that range. I think that my copy is probably a 2.0. But the most recent sale actually surprised me on this book, and that what I would call 1.0 sold on eBay auction for $412. So pretty valuable book, and I'm happy to crack it open and read it just like my grandfather did, you know. Just super happy to own this one. So I'm actually going to clean it and press it just to keep it in my collection. So which will be interesting. I'm going to actually kind of clean some of the interior pages too, because there's a little bit of pencil or whatever, and I want this book to really mean something to my collection and clean up well. Put it in a nice Mylar and just, you know, have it to pass down to my kids someday. But pretty cool book. What else? Did I have any other notes? I think that was about it. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you know anything about this book, if you've read this book, or if you own this book, or what you think of the Two Gun Kid. I have multiple early Two Gun Kid books. I think I might have sent the Two Gun Kid number 2 to CGC because it was such a clean copy, but I can't remember. I feel like I had it. But either way, if I have it, I either need to find it or it's at CGC. I need to look it up. But, you know, when I send Golden Age books to CGC, you just forget about them because you'll see them back in like 3 years. I'm just kidding. I don't really want to go down that path, but it does take a long time for those vintage submissions right now. So if you're sending anything Golden Age to CGC, just prepare yourself. But anyways, I have not read this yet, but this is the next book that I will read that was in his collection. This is Two Gun Kid number 3. So another really cool book. They have that awesome red, you know, trade dress on the top. I think that's pretty cool. Makes them stand out. But yeah, it's just unfortunate to have a couple of these lower runs or lower numbered books in the run so that I can start at the beginning and read them and hold them in hand and smell them, you know, and kind of just enjoy that whole experience. So I just thought I would share it with you. I know a lot of you guys really love the comic book history, and I don't talk about it a lot. You know, lately I've been talking about like how to make money with comic books or whatever, and I want to go back to like, you know, where I started. Like these books, you know, this book was rolled up in my grandfather's pocket, just like mine. You know, I put all my comic books in my back pockets when I walk around. Not actually, but I'm assuming I would have if I was his age in the 50s. I'm sure he had this thing tucked in his back pocket going down to the railroad tracks, you know, walking down to the convenience store, the filling station as he calls it. He always calls it the filling station, which I think is funny because I just call it, you know, Casey's or the gas station, right? Being from the Midwest, I've never called it a filling station, but my grandfather still does, which is kind of cool. I'm fortunate to have him around still to be able to talk about things like this and really enjoy these books and, you know, enjoy what they meant to him. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like, hit that subscribe. It really helps me out. We're almost at 1,900 subscribers, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, it's blizzarding here outside right now. We got a crazy blizzard going on, so it's warm inside. My furnace is running like normal, so the light hasn't shut off, so life is good. We're reading old comic books and just having a great day. So I hope you're having a good day. Make sure you read those comic books. Get out there. Grade a couple if you want, or don't. You know, I've got mixed feelings right now. So these Two Gun Kid ones, if I did send number 2 off, maybe I'll send 1 and 3. I don't know, but my current plan is just to keep this the way it is so I can continue to enjoy it. So appreciate you all. Until next time, we'll chat later. Bye.